signs that God is preparing you for marriage. Three signs that God is preparing you for marriage. There are many signs. There are many signs you can think of. And this particular session, we want to zero to three important signs that if you find them in your life, it means that God is preparing you for marriage, especially if you're a single man or a single lady and you see these signs as an indication that the time to tie up the knot is up and that God is preparing you for marriage. So let's go quickly through them. The first one is number one, when you are being tested and challenged in your current relationship. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Anytime you are being challenged, anytime you are being tested, anytime that you are going through tough situations in your current relationship, it is a sign that God may be preparing you for marriage. And I'm talking about family, friendship, your job, and maybe your leadership roles. Sometimes, if you have issues with family, sometimes if your friends, you're having issues with your friends, even the kind of job that you are doing, it is an indication that God may be preparing you for marriage. So when you go through those tests and trials, don't always think it's coming from the devil. Sometimes God is using those trials and tests to mold you. God is using those trials to strengthen your faith. Sometimes your endurance, sometimes your patience, sometimes He's drawing you to the secret place so that you can wait on Him. So that is the first sign that God may be preparing you for marriage anytime you see those tests and trials in your current relationship. The second sign that God may be preparing you for marriage is when God reveals your purpose and your calling. Your purpose and your calling. Your purpose is the reason why you are existing on earth. This is why God created you for. Your purpose is the assignment that God gave to you when you came on earth. Anytime God reveals your purpose and your calling to you, in other way, He's also preparing you for marriage, because marriage is all about purpose. It's fulfillment of purpose. God gives you marriage so that you can fulfill your purpose here on earth. So anytime God reveals your purpose and assignment or calling, it is a sign that God is preparing you for a marital breakthrough. Marriage is about purpose and completing an assignment God has designed for you. Your spouse will be based on your calling or purpose. And for me personally, I realized that when I found my purpose and identified my calling, it was within those moments the Lord brought me my wife. So it is true that marriage is all about purpose. So anytime that God reveals your calling, He reveals your assignment or purpose, it is a time that He's preparing you for marriage. And the third sign that you will know that God is preparing you for marriage is when God gives you practical instructions to prepare you for marriage. When God gives you practical instructions to prepare you for marriage, yes, sometimes it may not be the big things that we are praying and trusting God to tell us. It may be losing just a weight. Sometimes you have seen that you have gained a weight, and by no reason you find yourself wanting to reduce or lose a little bit weight. Those simple instructions, as it may seem to be, are signs that God is preparing you for marriage. It could be cutting down on expenses, probably the way you spend money, the way you luxuriously live your life. God is drawing your attention to those things because it will affect you in your marriage. So sometimes cutting down expenses could be a key that God is preparing for marriage. Learning how to cook, as simple as it may seem, is a sign that God, for a young lady, that suddenly the interest in cooking has grown, the desire to cook and learn how to cook different types of meals, and then you become obedient to those instructions that God is giving to you. It may be a sign that God is preparing you for marriage. So these are the three simple signs that when you find them, it's a key that it is time to tie up the knot. So the first one I said was that when there's a challenge in your current relationship, being a family, being friendship, being a job, or even your leadership, anytime you go to those tests, it is a sign that it is time to marry. The second one that I said is when God reveals your purpose and your calling, because marriage is all about purpose and fulfillment of God's assignment for you. And the third one is when God gives you an instruction to prepare you for marriage. I believe that this session has been a blessing. I want you to share the video to your friends, your colleagues, put them on those platforms and be a blessing to other people. God bless you and take good care of yourself.